Motherhood, exhaustion, dreams overhangs, kids, work. No time.
And a three, and a one, and a then. I want to say that.
And then,
Okay, we have to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
Breakfast
welcome.
with benefits.
Yes, again, I have to say, after 10,000 millions technical problems, we try to learn ourselves only from the YouTube channels, this, that, how this is working, what is this podtrack. Third week, we manage something.
So Breakfast with Benefits started from a conversation with Julia about women, about us, about motherhood, about who we are, what are our dreams, and women needs to be heard, and it's so difficult. So that's how we started the conversation, and now we are all here, three of us. I'm Kriszta, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a dog walker, I'm a babysitter, and a back office manager, and a starving artist, and a podcaster.
And where are you from, Kriszta?
I'm Hungarian.
Yes.
That's where the beautiful accent comes from.
There you go.
Yes, you're introducing yourself last night in that event, like I'm a starving artist. And I was thinking maybe starving is not the starving I was thinking of, but it was the starving I was thinking of, right?
Yeah.
Like a starving artist.
Not
And she was
starving.
Starving and starting. Julia, why don't you introduce yourself? And then we talk about last night.
My name is Julia. I'm Brazilian. This is the second podcast I do. I've done one with my husband. It's called Want an Album, and it was fun. And just like Kriszta explained, I'm here to talk about women and dreams and everything that has to do with women. And I'm very happy to be among you guys. And I have 3 kids, and I live in Miami. Now you, Beyza.
Hey, so I am the newest in Miami. I'm
New kid in town.
New kid in town. It's been 1 year, but I can still call myself new.
Of course.
So I'm Turkish, the third country here in this podcast. I have 2 kids, 1 girl, 1 boy.
What did you work with, Beyza?
Previously, I moved here from London. Before that, all my life was in Istanbul, and I was running our film studio, very busy and fun life. And then I had my first kid. First kid was fine. I could work with my first kid because maybe it was a girl. That could be the reason too. So when I had my second one, it got a little bit tricky. I needed to have lots of help with me to continue the exact same amount hours and dedication and concentration at work. But then things changed. My husband had to leave Turkey. He had to move to London. So I had to follow my husband because of the sake of the kids and the family. It will make lots of conflict if I would say to him, no, I don't want to leave my own country, my home, my life.
You know
my
what
friends.
I wanted to tell you? There's something I never told you, but I believe in this with my heart. And I've told this to Kriszta. I remember we were walking around Coconut Grove one time before we met Beyza, like probably 2 years ago or something. And we were talking about like our lives in Miami, and we were not very happy. And I still believe in this. Miami, what it does to you, Beyza, it turns you upside down so that you find your strength, and then it will spill you out if you don't give your best. It will spill you out. That's my take on Miami.
Oh my God.
You're gonna feel like you're a beginner until you find your strength and your grit, and then you'll see, yeah, I belong here. Because it will chew you and spill you out if you don't give your best game.
I do believe in this, but yeah, it definitely, as a person, puts you on a probe, on a stand, that you're really living your best version of yourself and living life fully, because it changes you. You gotta be tougher, you gotta you're gonna be a go-getter, a networker.
Yeah, of course, there must be people who've come here and they just adjusted and they're in the right place. But this is not how I feel about Miami, you know what I mean? This is my take on it. It feels, and I can say this for other people that I've met, that it's not like a soft landing. For the people that I have heard, that I've known throughout these years, of course there are people who've been living here their whole lives, so that doesn't change anything. It's like it's not a soft landing.
Yeah.
If you're a plane, you're like, it's shaky, you know, you're gonna.
Yeah, it's a little bit funny that you said that because it's my a little bit inner pep talk when I feel terrible and when I lose myself a little bit, the track, let's say, path. And I say to myself a little bit, you know what, you thought London was your bottom because as soon as you leave your home, you lose every connection that you have to build your life again and again. Yeah, I did that at the end of London, but again to Miami. So I was thinking maybe that wasn't the bottom. See more deeper, meaning I see if I hit harder, I'm gonna get up for sure.
They say when they hit the real
Yes,
deep down,
yes,
There is
There's
only
a-
way up,
yeah, there's how do you call that thing that pulls you right?
like a spiral.
Yeah,
like
a little. I forgot
yeah,
the name.
like a-
Spring.
Yeah. I just when I meet the newer people than me, I'm like, oh, how you doing? Let me teach
Just
you
see.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you feel adjusted real soon. But I think this path, this journey of getting to know yourself, giving the best of you, doing the best you can to adjust, and your kids, this will come with a lot of gratitude as well. Because it is.
So-
I think it's my case. I now 5 years later, I feel like okay, I belong here. Whereas I came from New Jersey. I used to live in New Jersey. The first year, I was totally well adjusted, which is crazy.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember 1 year later, I still had one last box. Just one that had some knickknacks in the attic. And, you know, once I did that, I said, yeah, I'm all set. Thought I was going to be a lifer.
really? How long were you in New Jersey?
5.
5.
Yeah, it feels like I've lived in New Jersey for much longer than here, but it's the same amount of time.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's also interesting when you first move, maybe the first couple of months or even a year is uplifting and happy because it's a new place, you are discovering, meeting new people. You're not really thinking about, oh, what I gonna do or how I gonna reinvent myself and so on because you're just taking
More
it
like
in.
a tourist mindset. Yeah.
And then
Never happened to me, that tourist
Really?
mindset.
Never?
No. But the people I was asking, everybody said that this is my London one. Like London, everybody said 2 years. 2 years is a disaster. Everybody.
why?
And mine did 2 years too. But I was just gonna say like Miami felt like a little bit faster.
Yeah,
the
so we
wheelchair.
went to an event last night. Welcome, ladies, to the menopause event. Yeah.
Hey, nice to meet
How
you.
did you
I'm
guys
menopause.
feel
Hi,
about,
I'm menopause. Hi, I'm menopause.
Yeah.
I'm perimenopausal.
How
Perry.
did you feel
I'm a
about this,
Perry.
Julia? When we walked in and the guy said, "Oh, you guys are for the menopause event." Okay, yeah.
No,
for
maybe.
Sure.
I thought it was weird that it's not the best welcome. Are you here
Right?
for the women's event?
Yeah.
It would have been
Wait,
so much
this
better.
wasn't a joke?
No.
He actually said,
This
"Are
was
you
real.
here?"
Are you
Yeah,
guys here for the menopause event?
I'm like, okay. So we got our titles.
And we're
I wasn't
like,
with you. I would have died if I heard that thing. Oh my God.
yes,
So much.
yeah.
But you know what's sad about it? It's a state of every woman gets to, but it still feels has a kind of negative connotation, or it feels like shameful.
If we feel
Right?
less than, of course we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we feel less than.
But we shouldn't.
We shouldn't, but we should talk about this.
Why we feel
Why?
ashamed and less menopause.
Well, like they said in the event, when our moms went through it, they never talked about this. And I would only hear about this in a magazine. And I would think, oh, this is for when I'm 70 years old, because it felt like it would take so much time to get there. And now it's so close, it's so here.
With the
And then
perimenopause.
at the same time, you look at yourself and you're like, but I was 30 not that long ago. And it comes so fast at you, and it's inevitable.
Yeah, especially that we learned about perimenopause. Because menopause, okay, but I didn't know that there is perimenopause and it could start at 35 for some
Yes,
people.
that's so great that you said that, because I
That's
was
a scary
thinking
thing
here.
that I'm far away from menopause.
I never introduced myself that way. I am a psychologist, and I have patients who are around 30 something, 34, 35, and so many times they're talking about symptoms, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, maybe they're starting to have symptoms of perimenopause. It's, of course, there is psyche involved, but there's also like bodily functions that are starting to decline. And when I moved to the US, I was 34, and I remember that at 35, I started seeing a lot of difference in my metabolism, in my body. There was a little pouch in my belly, like that I never had before. And I thought, wow, but I'm doing the same things. And it's like, what is this doing here? Yeah. And I think it's like it starts to slowly build up toxins. And I was definitely sleeping not as great as before. And I was thinking that this had to do with the move, but probably just a minor part of it was the actual move, but it was the hormones as well, just starting to accumulate and getting lower and lower.
Well, did you guys like this event yesterday?
So the fact that science, medicine, no one give a shit about that, maybe we have to beep here, but it's fascinating me. Everything has a cure. Pregnancy, they were saying in women's health, everything goes down to pregnancy, but after that, nothing.
Fuck you.
Yeah, you're dead. You're dead, and
you're of no use to society.
The world says we should be dead because you cannot give birth, so you're useless. So they use those words, and I was liking how they phrase the ugly truth. So I enjoy it. Imagine it's like reading a good book with good vocabulary, good literature. So for me, I looked to the event like that, and I enjoyed it. The movie, I enjoyed it a lot.
It was interesting from the movie to see how different racial women, how their menopause is pushed out. Black women can have their menopause 10 years.
10 years long.
And
Yes,
Asian,
yes, that was very interesting.
That was new information for me.
And that they argue that there's a lot of cultural components to it. And
but
they go as far back as
and why do you
segregation.
guys think that menopause just became such an attention lately? What
Me
triggered?
Too movement.
You think
After the Me Too movement, that's
You
what
think
I'm
so?
thinking. Social media.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I agree with you. I couldn't pinpoint exactly what started it, but I think you're going in the right direction. Like where women are having more of a voice.
Yes.
The last 10 years, I would say. Or maybe less. 5 years ago.
5 years,
When
yeah.
did the Me movement start?
I cannot be 10 because 10 years ago I didn't give up, like I was on my own.
I remember my London times when I discovered that something is not good and not going well with me and started this menopause journey. There was not so many podcasts, or it just erupted.
I remembered last night another phrase, and you and I, we looked at each other, our mothers. Our mothers are the boomers. The boomers weren't talking about anything anyway. No. So Gen X wouldn't go without a voice through this.
Yes,
so
exactly.
we are Gen X.
Yes.
Gen X, the old Gen X, went to menopause at the same time.
Yeah.
And we were not going to just sit down and suffer.
Yeah, there was a generational quality to how we say, how we address things. The
Yes.
generation before
When we were
was
young,
more silent, right?
Yes, when
about
we
these
were
things.
young, we had other things. When we had our times, it's a generational thing. Could be.
that's
Plus Me Too, plus social media. We hear, we know.
It's multifactorial, so there are many factors involved. But I love all these that you mentioned. Yeah,
It's amazing that then this generational shift came, right? That we are not carrying the same shame and taboo about so many things like our mother did. Never even talked about this within the family.
the impression I have, Kriszta, is that we're all holding our hands. We're all, the women are holding each other's hands and not letting go. Look, we're in this together. We're not
absolutely
as alone as women were before, where they would have to suffer through things alone. Now we have more of a voice. And I think this is getting more pronounced as the years pass. And I like that. We have it all. Where did it start? It started with us having the right to vote.
So when we arrived yesterday, I was so shocked. All these dolled up women who are in menopause, but they don't want to be in menopause, of course. And with the plastic surgery, and I felt disgusted. I did. It's so plastic and artificial, and on the other hand, we're talking about something deep, something menopause, something everybody goes through. I don't know. The two together for me was so not cohesive.
What two together?
Like
The subject and what
plasticness.
you saw.
Exactly, the subject and what
People
we talk
were wearing
about.
sparkling dresses. Did you guys?
And this was an evening,
Gowns.
celebrating women and talking about menopause. And some of the dresses, some of the way people put so much work into to have a perfect look and a perfect dress. And I don't know, like I felt so out of place somehow. I given whatever was discussed in the film, it was interesting, and it was nice to see a documentary, and it was amazing to see that the woman who did the documentary from NBC talking how the documentary actually came together, talking to another friend. They were going through menopause, and then from that little conversation, a whole documentary was born. I think that's
very
for
inspiring,
me,
right?
very inspiring, and it was amazing that the director was there and listening. But this crowd, and then the plasticness and the superficialness of, I don't know.
It's Miami,
I was,
Kriszta.
yeah, it was the Miami style menopause evening, for sure.
The other
For
part,
me.
the
For
part
me.
that I was really shocked was when the host was asking the crowd, "Hey everyone, raise your hands if you're 40, if you're 30." Then just a few raised their hands. 40. Then a lot of people raised their hands. 50. And then it stopped. She never asked where the 60 people were.
Exactly.
The 70 people. And I feel like if you want to have this kind of conversation, you're including every woman. You're not letting go of the 60-year-olds and the 70-year-olds. She's not going to ask for the 60s or the 70-year-olds. Is that because they think they're postmenopausal? But that doesn't matter. So many of these women are still taking HRT, and they have so much to contribute as well for society.
Absolutely.
And
I agree.
And then us women, we leave out women. If we're going to talk about this, we can't just let some out. Everybody's included. All sorts of women are included. So
They made a big mistake there.
that just goes to show how much we still have, so much still to walk until we find the perfect equilibrium.
When you start to reinvent yourself, where we are.
And we are
I
totally
am in there.
Yeah.
You
We
are.
are totally
Yeah.
a different person. It's with this identity, what I'm gonna do with this one. As you were saying, like their research in men's and that. I was thinking while I listened to you. You call this a goodie bag, right? They gave us like 10 pounds of giant bag. So last night I started opening them. And it was all concepted menopause, and it made me think, you know what? They're gonna start, because if men are gonna make money from this subject, lots of products are gonna be sold, then it's gonna be the topic.
Right.
Menopause protein bar, menopause cream, menopause this, because the estrogens are
Sex
cheap.
pills.
Estrogens patches are cheap. It's not very expensive, so they're not gonna be interested of cheap product, but side products are endless. And as soon as they see that, then we're covered, ladies.
Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as it turns into a business, a multi-million-dollar business, Hail to capitalism. Did your mom talk to you about menopause when you were growing up? Or
no.
any time during her life?
Nobody. The most I learned about actually menopause when I was going through IVF, and I didn't even know that you're born with certain number of eggs. So when I was doing the IVF, I learned about how we work, and our ovaries and the eggs and so on. I was just learning about it, going through that process. Menopause was never discussed in my house as growing up. How about you
I remember
guys?
one time my mom said, I wouldn't worry about menopause if I were you because I didn't have any symptoms, not any hot flashes, anything. And I'm like, okay, great. But then it's not the same
Life
for me.
proved.
It's not the same for my sister.
You know what? Because they only knew as menopause is the period is stopping and hot flashes.
Yeah.
They
Hot
didn't
flashes,
know
that's it.
any other symptoms belong to menopause.
Exactly.
Yes.
They didn't know that.
Yeah. And
They
there are
didn't
so
know.
many.
Yeah.
So many. Can you guys remember the
I
symptoms?
remember I hated them all.
Dry
Yeah.
skin, dry
Tooth,
hair.
with the tooth. I lost.
With the tooth. I lost the
Yesterday
tooth.
Lost the tooth too.
Yeah.
Yes, I was saying to myself, I never have a teeth problem.
Yes.
My teeth were always perfect, never like perfect. Since 1 year, I'm going crazy. What's happening to me again?
Bone
And
loss.
One
Yeah.
more shit we learned yesterday. It's about teeth. I didn't know that.
Me neither. I didn't know the tooth, whatever.
I-
You know what? They better shoot us after menopause.
No, because you know what?
You know what? I rather like the things they're counting is unlivable, and they said every woman is gonna have that. It's not a disease.
It's God, guys. God is not a woman. I remember my OBGYN here. First
Yes,
time I
yes.
went to my OBGYN here in Miami, she said, first of all, your symptoms are normal. This is all accounted for perimenopause. And let me tell you something. God is definitely not a woman. She was the best.
Do you know what? I think this is amazing that it's happening and people talk about it and we hold each other hands and we're going through together, because what's going to come out of menopause? Oh my God, all these women empowered and strong and,
Our
you
daughters
know,
will be much stronger. than
yeah,
us. Yeah.
reinvented and doing so much. Let's think about the positive that we will know what's going on exactly. We will take care of ourselves. We will take the sex pills, the cream, whatever, the cannabis and the mist
Whatever.
spray and whatever. And we're going to come out and be vital and strong at 70, 80, 90, 100.
Amen.
Thank you, Kriszta. But no, thank you. Next episode, we will talk about Mother Nature.